So far I've been concentrating exclusively on the chordal side of funk guitar. So I'd like to change horses a little bit right now and get into some single note material. Touch is an absolutely essential element of funk. How hard you pick, whether you play staccato, legato, all these different touches play a huge role in the sound. Now I'm going to play a simple 2-bar E pentatonic lick that's right off the 5th position of the E blues scale. And I'm going to play it 2 different ways. Now you check out the difference between the 2 versions. 3, 4. Now here's the second version. Now obviously the second version is much funkier, there's no competition. And the reason is I'm nailing the strings hard. And particularly on a Strat, when you do that, you get this kind of clucky thing happening, which you won't get if you just pick the strings like it's a jazz guitar with a big fat jazz box like an L5 or something, and you're going, just doesn't make it on this kind of groove. So let's try it with the track, and let's see how it sounds up to tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another 2-bar low register single note pattern that needs the same kind of rough treatment to be really happening. It's right off the same 5th position E pentatonic scale as the last example. 3, 4. This is pretty typical of a standard E funk groove that can be played over an E 9th chord or an E 7th chord. And the most interesting thing about it is the way that the bass weaves in and out of the guitar part. It goes back to that hit it where they ain't concept I spoke about earlier in the video, where when the guitar stops, there's a bass note, and when the bass plays, the guitar is being quiet, and then the guitar starts and the bass isn't playing, and they're constantly weaving in and out of each other's rhythmic holes. And that's what makes this particular track so funky. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you saw what I meant about the bass and the guitar weaving in and out of each other and how they play in each other's holes. The other thing to notice is the tone of the guitar in this. I was really hammering these notes, and the way I was doing it was I was using down picks on almost everything. And it's even more than just down picks. So when I play the low A, I use the A string on the 5th fret and I let the open A string stop my pick. I play the B at the 7th fret and I let the A string stop my pick again. I hit the D at the 5th fret of the A string and let the open D string stop my pick. And finally I hit the G over here at the 5th fret and I let the G string stop my pick. And that's the key to getting this. And it really makes the song cook, makes the guitar part have that clucky effect, which is what you want in funk. On the last 2 examples, I was slamming the strings pretty hard. Now I'm going to give you a different look. Sometimes the key to being funky is to be unfunky. I'm going to play you a 4-bar phrase that features very even single notes with everything happening squarely on the downbeats. There's no percussive muting or choking, and there's no syncopations off the 16th notes, and yet this is an absolutely funky, nasty guitar part. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. James Brown would say, ain't it funky now? Well, how come? It's because the guitar is working to provide a nice, uncomplicated background for all the syncopations you heard in the bass and the drums, and it allows them to come center stage. Also, the wah-wah pedal instantly identifies the sound and places this lick in the funk domain. Now, when you play the pedal, you can tap rhythmically with the beat like this. Or you can sweep across the frequencies slowly. Now the next example is an interesting case because it shows how funk sometimes pulls from unexpected sources. Funk, obviously, because of the proliferation of syncopations off the 16th, gets a lot of its ideas from Latin and jazz, and of course blues because of all the blues scales. But occasionally guys even dip a little further back into the 30s. I'm sure you recognize this old Delta blues lick. Well, that lick happened to filter down into a few important and very influential funk guitar styles. So I'd like to play you a slow one in E minor, and you'll see this same idea, which is coming right off an E minor chord, and I'll show you a lick that is very reminiscent of what was happening on the Delta in the 30s and 40s, and it wound up in the 70s in the middle of a few very important funk jams. The first bar of this two-bar lick features an updated version of this Delta lick with an added 6th degree, which is this C sharp here. So, see, this is just part of an E minor triad. You want to bend this G up a little bit just to pull it slightly out of tune, about a quarter tone. Then you hit this 6th degree, mute, and then you got in the second bar a little Chuck Berry kind of thing. When you put it all together, and this is kind of a E Dorian vamp because of the C sharp, which is the characteristic note of Dorian. So it's kind of modal. Let's see how it sounds with the rhythm section. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you know I couldn't show my face back in Philadelphia unless I put a little example of Philly-style funk in this. I'm going to show you a two-bar phrase that is over two changes, B flat for one bar and G minor for one.